106-48. After his defeat at Pharsalia, he fled to Egypt, where he was murdered. 441. Fierce Antionius, Marcus B. 100. 83-30. The Great Triumvir, who after his defeat at Actium killed himself in Egypt. 444. The bold Semiramis, the legendary Queen of Assyria. 446. Faerie Queene, the wife of Proteus, who on account of her unrequited love for Bellerophon, died by hemlock. Aristophanes' Frogs, 1049 sec. 448. High-minded Cleopatra, B. 100. 69-30. The beautiful Queen of Egypt, who is said by Plutarch to have died in the manner mentioned. Questions and topics. Canto 5. 1. How did Redcrosse spend the night before the fight with Sans? 2. Study in detail the fine description of Douce's descent to Erebus. 3. What elements of beauty are seen in the description of dawn and sunrise in 2? And compare Psalms 19:5. 4. What arbitrary classification of musicians does Spenser make in 3? 5. Who is the far-renowned queen in 5? 6. Describe the joust between the knight and Sans. 7. Where do you learn of the laws governing such contests? 8. Observe the dramatic way in which Douce saves Sans. 9. What dramatic stroke in 27? 10. Describe Knight and her team. 11. Give an account of her descent to Erebus with Sans. 12. What were some of the tortures of the damned? 13. What effect is produced in 30 and how? 14. Point out some instances in which Spenser has imitated Homer Virgil. 15. Where does he follow the Latin rather than the Greek poets? 16. Why did Aesculapius hesitate to heal Sans? 17. Whom did the dwarf see in the dungeons of pride? 18. Why did the knight flee from the house of pride? 19. Examine the following grammatical forms. Macon 50. 22. Wounds 50. 400. 20. What figure of speech is employed in 18? 21. What illustration is used in 8? 22. Find example of balanced structure in 7, alliteration in 8, 15, 18. 23. Scan 50. 23. 24. Note nom. Abs. Construction in 45. 25. Paraphrase the involved constructions in 42, 19, 8, 36. Canto 6. I. The plot, continuation of Canto 3. Una is delivered from Sansloy by a band of satyrs. She remains with them as their teacher. There a knight of the wildwood, Sir Satyrane, discovers her, and by his assistance, Una succeeds in making her way out of the forest to the plain. On the way they meet Archimago, disguised as a pilgrim, and he deceives them and leads them to Sansloy. While Sir Satyrane and Sansloy are engaged in a bloody battle, Una flees. She is pursued by Archimago, but makes her escape. 2. The allegory, 1. Truth is saved from destruction by lawless violence. Sansloy, by the aid of barbarism or savage instinct, which terrorizes lawlessness but offers natural homage to truth. Truth finds a temporary home among ignorant and rude folk, satyrs, and in return imparts divine truth to their unregenerate minds. Natural heroism or manly courage, Sir Satyrane sides with truth and defends it against lawlessness. 2. The religious allegory signifies the extension of Protestantism through the outlying rural districts of England and in Ireland. Upton thinks that Sir Satyrane represents Sir John Perrott, whose behavior, though honest, was too coarse and rude for a court. 'Twas well known that he was a son of Henry VIII. Holinshed says that, as Lord President of Munster, Sir John secured such peace and security that a man might travel in Ireland with a white stick only in his hand. 16. From one to other Y&D, from the East to the West Indies. 61. A troop of fauns and satyrs. The fauns were the wood gods of the Romans. the satyrs the wood gods of the Greeks. They were half human, half goat, and represented the luxuriant powers of nature. 63. Old Sylvanus, the Roman god of fields and woods, young and fond of animal pleasures. Spenser represents him as a feeble but sensuous old man. 90. With Chang of Faerie, from the wolf to the lion. 96. Rustic horror, bristling hair. 99. Their backward bent knees, like the hinder legs of a goat. 101. Their barbarous truth, their savage honor. 103. Late Learnd, having been recently taught. She had shown too hasty trust in Archimago. 112. Without suspect of crime, without suspicion of blame. 117. The olive is the emblem of peace, as the ivy 50. 126 is of sensuousness. 120. With their horned feet, with their hoofs. 128. Or Bacchus marry fruit, etc., whether they did discover grapes. 129. Or Cybelus Frantice writes, the wild dances of the Corybantes, priestesses of Cybele, or Rhea, the wife of Cronos and mother of the gods. 132. That myrichu are rare, that model of beauty. So Sydney was called the mirror of chivalry. 134. Faerie Dryop, a princess of Italia who became a forest nymph. Follow, mentioned in 50. 135 is probably a fictitious creation of the authors. 146. Dearest Cyparisse, a youth of sea, who accidentally killed his favorite stag and dying of grief was changed into a cypress. He was beloved by Apollo and Sylvanus. 148. Not Faerie to this, i.e. Compared to this. 152. Enud after joy would not afterwards be cheerful. 153. Selfiwildenoy, self-willed distress. 154. Faerie hamadryads, the nymphs who dwelt in the forest trees and died with them. 156. Lightfoot Naiades, the freshwater nymphs, companions of the fauns and satyrs. 161. Their woody kind, the wood-born creatures of their own kind, e.g. nymphs or satyrs. 163. Juno was luckless in having lost her knights, but lucky in the friendship of the satyrs. Note the euphuistic phrasing. 169. Idolatries. The allegory has reference to the idolatrous practices of the ignorant primitive Christians, such as the worship of images of the saints, the pageant of the wooden ass during Lent, see Matthew 21, and Brand's Popular Antiquities, I 124, and the Feast of the Ass, see Matthew 2:14. 172. A noble warlike knight, Sir Satyrane, in whom are united rude, untaught chivalry and woodland savagery. He represents natural heroism and instinctive love of truth. 173. By just occasion, just at the right moment. 184. Thymis is the symbol of animal passion, labryde of the lower appetites, therion, the human wild beast who deserts his wife. 24. This account of Sir Satyrane's education is based on that of Rogero by his uncle Atlant in Ariosto's Orlando Furioso. 7:5-7. 213. Maistr of his guise, his instructor. 214. At his horrid VAW, his shaggy, uncouth appearance. 256. His famous worth was blown, i.e. blazoned by fame's trumpet. 308. A JACOBS SDFFE. According to Nares, a pilgrim's staff, either from the frequent pilgrimages to St. James of Comfortella in Galicia, or because the apostle St. James is usually represented with one. 371. See Canto 3:38, where Archimago was disguised as St. George. 372. Thenchanthervaine, etc. The foolish enchanter, Archimago, would not have rued his St. George's crime, i.e. slaying Sansv. 373. But them his Errour shalt, etc. Thou shalt by thy death pay the penalty of his crime, and thus prove that he was really guilty. A very obscure passage. Look up the original meaning of shall. 386. This simile is found frequently in the old romances. Cf. Malory's Mort 500 Arthur, 2, 104, and Chaucer's Knight's Tale 50. 1160. 416. According to a usage of chivalry, the lover wore a glove, sleeve, kerchief, or other token of his ladylove on his helmet. By lover's token, sansel, ironically means a blow. 425. To her last decay, to her utter ruin. 426. Spenser leaves the fight between Sansloy and Sir Satyrane unfinished. Both warriors appear in later books of the Faerie Queene. Questions and topics. Canto 6. 1. Who rescued Una from Sansloy? 2. How does Una repay their kindness? 3. How was she treated by them? 4. Explain the references to the various classes of nymphs. 5. Look up the classical references in 16 and 18. 6. Why is Una described as luckless lucky? 7. What customs of the early Christians are referred to in 19? 8. What does Sir Satyrane symbolize in the allegory? 9. What was his character and education? 10. Note the Elizabethan conception of the goddess Fortune in 31. 11. Did Una act ungratefully in leaving the satyrs as she did? 12. Who is the weary wight in 34? 13. What news of St. George did he give? Was it true? 14. Who is the Paynim mentioned in 40? 15. Note euphuistic antithesis in 42. 16. Explain the figures in 4, 6, 10, 44. 17. Paraphrase LL. 289, 296. 18. Find Latinisms in 25, 26, 28, 31, and 37. 19. Describe the fight at the end of the canto. Canto 7. The plot, continuation of Canto 5. Dusa pursues the Redcrosse Knight and overtakes him sitting by an enchanted fountain, weary and disarmed. He is beguiled into drinking from the fountain and is quickly deprived of strength. In this unnerved and unarmed condition, he is suddenly set upon by the giant Orgoglio. After a hopeless struggle, he is struck down by the giant's club and is thrust into a dungeon. Una is informed by the dwarf of the knight's misfortune and is prostrated with grief. Meeting Prince Arthur, she is persuaded to tell her story and receives promise of his assistance. 2. The allegory. 1. The Christian soldier, beguiled by falsehood, doffs the armor of God and indulges in sinful pleasures and loses his purity. He then quickly falls into the power of carnal pride, or the brutal tyranny of false religion, or gaglio. He can then be restored only by an appeal to the highest honor or magnificence, Prince Arthur, through the good offices of truth and common sense. 2. In the reaction from the Reformation, Protestant England, by dallying with Romanism, Dusa, Mary Queen of Scots, falls under the tyrannic power of the Pope, or Gaglio, with whom Catholic England was coquetting. At this juncture, national honor and consciousness comes to the relief of Protestantism. There is personal compliment to either Lord Leicester or Sir Philip Sidney. 19. He feeds upon, he enjoys. A Latinism, cf. Virgil's Aeneid 3. 37. Phoebe, a surname of Diana or Artemis, the goddess of the moon. 45. Spenser probably takes the suggestion from the fountain in the gardens of Armida in Tasso's Jerusalem Delivered, 1474. Cf. Also the fountain of Salmacis in Ovid's Metamorphoses, 15, 819 sec. 56. Pourd out, a metaphor borrowed from Euripides' Herac, 75, and Virgil Aeneid 9, 317. 62. His looser make, his too dissolute companion. 67. An hideous Geant, or Gaglio, symbolizing inordinate pride, and the Pope of Rome, who then claimed universal power over both church and state. 10. For a list of many other giants of romance, see Brewer's Handbook, pp. 370, 6379. 104. That divlsh, YRONENGIN canon. The invention of artillery by infernal ingenuity is an old conception of the poets. There is a suggestion of it in Virgil's Aeneid, 6, 585 sec, which is elaborated in Ariosto's Orlando Furioso, 9, 91, which Milton in turn imitated in Paradise Lost, 6, 516 sec. So in the Romance of Sir Triamer. 112. Thonely breath, the mere breath. 119. Do him not to die, slay him not, cf. Done to death. 138. A monstrous beast, on which the woman of Babylon sat, Revelation 13 and 17, 7. 139. This refers to the Romish policy of fostering ignorance among its members. 140. That Renowmed snake, the Lernaean hydra, a monster with 9 or more heads, offspring of Typhon and Echidna. It was slain by Hercules. Stremona is a name of Spenser's own invention. 147. The reference is to the cruelty and insensibility of the Romish Church. 150. Its tail reached to the stars. Revelation 12:4. 155. And holy HASDS, FORETUGHT, and holy commands previously taught them. 161. His FORLORNE weed, his abandoned clothing. 165. MONAMENTS, the sorrowful, mournful relics. 182. So hardly he, etc. So he with difficulty coaxes the life which has flown to return into her body. According to the Platonic teaching, the body is the prison house of the soul. Cf. Psalms 142, 7. 202. But sealed up with death, but closed in death. Seal was a term in falconry, meaning to sew up the eyes of the hawk. 219. The bitter BALEFULL, STOUND, the bitter, grievous moment during which she listens to the story. 220. If LESSE then that I FEARE, etc., if it is less bitter than I fear it is, I shall have found more favor, been more fortunate than I expected. 231. SOROWFULL assay, the assault of sorrow on her heart. 236. Was never lady, etc., there never was lady who loved day, life, dearer. 249. A goodly knight. Prince Arthur, son of King Uther Pendragon and Queen Idryn, the model English gentleman, in whom all the virtues are perfected, magnificence. According to Upton and most editors, Prince Arthur represents Lord Leicester. According to another tradition, Sir Philip Sidney. Could the author have possibly intended in him compliment to Sir Walter Raleigh? See Spenser's letter to Raleigh. Arthur is the beau ideal of knighthood, and upon him the poet lavishes his richest descriptive powers. His armor, his shield Pridwin, his lance Roan, and sword Excalibur were made by the great enchanter Merlin in the Isle of Avalon. 259. SHAPT like a lady's head, an effigy of Queen Elizabeth, the Faerie Queene. 260. Like Hesperus, the evening star. Cf. Phosphorus, the morning star. 268. The dragon couchant was also the crest of Arthur's father, Uther, surnamed on this account Pendragon. The description in this stanza is imitated from Tasso's description of the helmet of the Sultan in Jerusalem delivered, 9:25, which in turn follows Virgil's Aeneid, 7, 785 sec. 280. Gloriana Escalinis, a town in Sicily. 284. His warlike shield. Spenser here follows closely the description of the shield of the magician Atlant in Ariosto's Orlando Furioso, 2:55. 300. Silver Cyanthiachae, the moon. It was popularly supposed that magicians and witches had power to cause eclipses of the moon. 304. all falsehood and deception. Truth and wisdom are symbolized Upton. 306. When him list, when it pleased him. Him as dative. 314. It Merlin was. Ambrose Merlin, the prince of enchanters, son of the nun Matilda and an incubus, half angel and half man. He made, in addition to Prince Arthur's armor and weapons, the round table for 150 knights at Cardwell, the magic fountain of love, and built Stonehenge on Salisbury Plain. He died spellbound by the sorceress Vivian in a hollow oak. See Tennyson's Idylls of the King. 326. Did trample as the Aire, curveted as lightly as the air. 335. And for her humor, etc., and to suit her sad, mood-framed fitting conversation. 355. The subject of found is the substantive clause who. Impart. 41. Observe the antithetical structure of this stanza, both in the stichomathia, or balance of line against line, and in the lines themselves. In this rapid wordplay, Arthur wins his point by appealing to Una's faith. 363. No faith so fast, etc. No faith is so firm that human infirmity may not injure it. 376. Una Truth is the sole daughter of Eden. 377. Whilst equal destinies, etc., whilst their destinies, fates, revolved equally and undisturbed in their orbits. Astronomical figure. 381. Phison and Euphrates, etc., three of the four rivers that watered Eden, the Hiddekel being omitted. See Genesis 2:11-14. In this stanza, the poet strangely mixes Christian doctrine and the classical belief in the envy of the gods working the downfall of men. 385. Tartary, Tartarus for the rhyme, the lowest circle of torment in the infernal regions. 391. Has this obscure line any reference to prophecy? Cf. Daniel 7:25, Revelation 12:6-14. 394. That heaven walks about under the sky. 404. That noble order, the Order of the Garter, of which the maiden queen was head. The figure of St. George slaying the dragon appears on the oval and pendant to the collar of this order. 405. Of Gloriana, Queen Elizabeth. 407. Cleopolis is read, is called Cleopolis, i.e. the city of glory or London. 425. My dolfull disadventurous deare, my sad misadventurous injury. 429. That my captive languor, the languishing captivity of my parents. 432. My loyalty, i.e. the loyalty of me that rather death desire, etc. 441. That brought not backe, etc., and whence the body full of evil was not brought back dead. Questions and topics. Canto 7. 1. Relate how the knight fell into the hands of the giant. 2. Note the fine adaptation of sound to sense in 7. 3. Who were the parents and the foster father of Orgoglio? 4. What are the principal characteristics of the giants of romance as seen in Orgoglio? Cf. With the giants in Pilgrim's Progress. 5. In the description of the giant do the last two lines, 8 add to or detract from the impression? Why? 6. To whom does Spenser ascribe the invention of artillery? 7. Explain the allegory involved in the relations of Dusa and Orgoglio. 8. How does Una act on hearing the news of the knight's capture? 9. What part does the dwarf play? 10. Is Una just to herself in LL? 202-01. 11. Is she over-sentimental or ineffective, and is the pathos of her grief kept within the limits of the reader's pleasure? 12. Express in your own words the main thought in 22. 13. Note the skillful summary of events in 26, and observe that this stanza is the central crisis and pivotal point of the whole book. The fortunes of the knight reach their lowest ebb and begin to turn. The first half of the book has been the complication of the plot, The second half will be the resolution. 14. Give a description of Prince Arthur. 15. What mysterious power was possessed by his shield? Cf. The Holy Grail. 16. Observe carefully the scene between Una and Arthur, noting the changes in her mood. What light is thrown on her character? What are her feelings toward the knight? 17. Explain the various threads of allegory in this canto. Canto 8. The plot, Prince Arthur and Una are conducted by the dwarf to Orgoglio's castle. At the blast of the squire's horn, the giant comes forth, attended by Dusa mounted on the seven-headed beast. In the battle which ensues, Arthur wounds the beast, slays the giant, and captures Dusa. Prince Arthur finds the Redcrosse Knight half-starved in a foul dungeon and releases him. Dusa is stripped of her gaudy clothes and allowed to hide herself in the wilderness. 2. The allegory. 1. Magnificence, the sum of all the virtues, wins the victory over carnal pride and restores holiness to its better half, truth. With the overthrow of pride, falsehood, which is the ally of that vice, is stripped of its outward show and exposed in all its hideous deformity. 2. The false Romish church becomes drunk in the blood of the martyrs. There is a hint of the persecutions in the Netherlands, in Piedmont, of the massacre of St. Bartholomew's Day and the burnings under Bloody Mary. Protestant England is delivered from popish tyranny by the honor and courage of the English people. Militant England, Prince Arthur, is assisted by the clergy squire with his horn Bible and is guided by truth and common sense, dwarf. 23. Horne of Bugle Small, the English Bible. Spenser here imitates the description of the magic horn of Logestilla in Ariosto's Orlando Furioso, 15:53. Such horns are frequently mentioned in romance, e.g., Chanson de Roland, Mort 500 Arthur, Hawes' Pastime, Tasso's Jerusalem Delivered, Huon of Bordeaux, Romance of Sir Adel, Cervantes' Don Quixote, etc. 50. Late Crull Feast, a probable reference to the massacre of St. Bartholomew's Day in Paris in 1572, and to the persecutions of Alva's Council of Blood in the Netherlands in 1567. 9. This stanza is an imitation of Homer's Iliad, 14:414. 95. In Cymbran Plaini, probably the Crimea, the ancient Tauric Chersonese. Some connect it with the Cimbric Chersonese, or Jutland, which was famous for its herds of bulls. 96. Kindly rage, natural passion. 105. Note the Latinism threatened his heads, and the imperfect rhyme brands. 118. Her golden cup, suggested by Circe's magic cup in Homer's Odyssey, 10:316, and the golden cup of the Babylonish woman in Revelation, 17:4. 148. Through great impatience of his grievedhed, etc., through inability to endure the pain of his wounded head, he would have cast down his rider, etc. 155. In one alone left hand, in one hand alone remaining. His left arm had been cut off 10. 19. The uncovered shield represents the open Bible. The incident is an imitation of Ruggiero's display of his shield in Orlando Furioso, 2285. 246. Your fortune master, etc., be master of your fortune by good management. 268. Unused rust, rust which is due to disuse, a Latinism. 296. With naturius pen, etc., i.e. by his gray hairs, at that age to which proper seriousness belongs. I cannot tell, did not become his venerable looks. 310. That greatest princes, etc. This may mean, 1. Befitting the presence of the greatest princes, or 2. That the greatest princes might deign to behold in person. The first interpretation is preferable. 312. A general reference to the bloody persecutions without regard to age or sex carried on for centuries by the Romish Church, often under the name of crusades, acts of faith, Holy Inquisition, etc. 315. This may refer to the burning of heretics, under the pretext that the church shed no blood. Kitchen thinks that it means accursed ashes. 317. An allegorical cf. Revelation 6:9. Carv 500 with cunning ymagry, in allusion to the stimulus given to the fine arts by the Church of Rome, Percival. 366. Brwned bowrs, brawny muscles. 375. What evillstrre, etc. In Spenser's day, belief in astrology, the pseudoscience of the influence of the stars on human lives, was still common. 381. There was an old familiar ballad entitled Fortune My Foe. 384. I.e. Your good fortune will be threefold as great as your evil fortune. 384. Good grows of evilsprife. Good springs out of our endurance of the tests and experience of evil. 391. Best musickei breds delight, etc. A troublesome passage. Upton and Jortin amend delight to dislike. Church inserts no before delight and omits best. Kitchen suggests despite. Grossart prefers the text as it stands with the meaning that although the best music pleases the troubled mind, it is no pleasure to renew the memory of past sufferings. I venture to offer still another solution, based on the context. When Una shows a desire to hear from her knight a recountal of his sufferings in the dungeon, and he is silent, being loath to speak of them, Arthur reminds her that a change of subject is best, for the best music is that which breeds delight in the troubled ear. 46. In this passage Spenser follows closely the description of the witch Alcina in Ariosto's Orlando Furioso. 773. Rogero has been fascinated by her false beauty, and her real foulness is exposed by means of a magic ring. The stripping of Dusa symbolizes the proscription of vestments and ritual, and the overthrow of images, etc., at the time of the Reformation. Dusa is only banished to the wilderness, not put to death, and reappears in another book of the poem. Questions and topics. Canto 8. 1. What moral reflections are found in I? 2. What were the duties of the squire in chivalry? 3. What part does Arthur's squire play? 4. What does the squire's horn symbolize? 5. Observe the classical figure in 9. 6. Describe the battle before the giant's castle, stating what part is taken by each of the four engaged. 7. Point out several of the characteristics of a typical battle of romance, and compare with combats in classical and modern times. 8. What additional traits of Una's character are presented in this canto? Note especially her treatment of the knight. 9. How is the unchangeableness of truth illustrated in this story? 10. Who is the old man in 30 sec? 11. Who is the woeful thrall in 37? 12. In what condition, mental and physical, is the knight when liberated? 13. How long was he a captive? 14. What was Dusa's punishment? Was it adequate? Explain its moral and religious meaning. 15. Observe the use of thou and you in this canto. 16. Find examples of antithesis alliteration, Latinisms. Canto 9. I. The plot. Prince Arthur tells Una of his vision of the Faerie Queene and of his quest for her. After exchanging presents with the Redcrosse Knight, he bids farewell to Una and her companions. These pursue their journey and soon meet a young knight, Sir Trevisan, fleeing from despair. Sir Trevisan tells of his narrow escape from this old man, and unwillingly conducts the Redcrosse Knight back to his cave. The knight enters and is almost persuaded to take his own life. He is saved by the timely interposition of Una. This is the most powerful canto of Book 1. 2. The allegory, 1. The moral allegory in Canto 7 presents the transition of the soul, Redcrosse, from pride to sin, Dusa, through distrust of truth, Una, and it thus comes into the bondage of carnal pride, orgoglio. In Canto 9, the soul suffers a similar change from sin to despair. Having escaped from actual sin, but with spiritual life weakened, it almost falls a victim to despair through excess of confidence and zeal to perform some good action. The soul is saved by truth, by which it is reminded to depend on the grace of God. 2. The allegory on its religious side seems to have some obscure reference to the long and bitter controversies between Protestantism, Calvinism, and Roman Catholicism allied with infidelity. 1. O goodly golden chaine, chivalry or knightly honor, the bond that unites all the virtues. 18. Thanklssc, because not knowing whom to thank. 26. In Malory's Mort 500 Arthur is taken from his mother, Idrun, at birth, and committed to the care of Sir Ector as his foster father, I3. In Merlin, Sir Antor is his foster father. 33. Errour and Mossihor, Roran white with moss. A Roranvor hill, in Merionethshire, is mentioned by Selden. Contrary to the older romancers, Spenser makes Prince Arthur a Welshman, not a Cornishman. 34. The River Dee, which rises in Merionethshire and flows through Lake Bala. 39. My discipline to frame, etc., to plan my course of instruction, and, as my tutor, to supervise my bringing up. 45. In her just tarme, in due time. 57. Or that fresh bleeding wound, i.e. his love for Gloriana. 59. With forced fury, etc., supplying me from my in 50. 58. The meaning is, the wound brought me following its bidding with compulsive, passionate, fury, etc. In the 16th century, his was still almost always used as the possessive of it. It does not occur in the King James Version of the Bible, 1611. 63. Could ever find the heart to grieve, etc. A euphuistic conceit. 64. According to the physiology of Spenser's age, love was supposed to dry up the humors, moisture, of the body. 70. But told, i.e. if it my love is told. 100. Ensample make of him, witness him the Redcrosse Knight. 113. Whiles every sence, etc., while the sweet moisture bathed all my senses. 146. Next to that lady's love, i.e. next to his love, loyalty, for Gloriana. Does the poet mean that allegiance to queen and country comes before private affection? 149. Was firmest fixt, etc., were strongest in my extremity in the giant's dungeon. 169. A book, the New Testament, an appropriate gift from the champions of the Reformed Church. 182. An armed knight, Sir Trevisan, who symbolizes fear. 189. Pegasus, the winged horse of the Muses. For note on the false possessive with his, see note on 544. 233. Had not greater grace, etc., had not greater grace, than was granted my comrade, saved me from it, I should have been partaker, with him of his doom in that place. 249. After fairieareds, afterwards graciously tells. 267. With dying feare, with fear of dying. 269. Whoc like infrmiti, etc., i.e. if you are a victim of love, you may also fall into the hands of despair. 270. But God you never let, but may God never let you, etc. 272. To spoil the castle of his health, to take his own life. Cf. Eliot's Castle of Health, published in 1534. 273. IWT, etc. I whom recent trial hath taught, and who would not endure the, like for all the wealth of this world, know, how a man may be so gained over to destroy himself. 275. This simile is a very old one. See Homer's Iliad, I 249, Odyssey 18 283, Song of Solomon 4:11, and Tasso's Jerusalem Delivered 2:51. 286. For gold nor glee. Cf. For love or money. 290 296. Imitated from Virgil's Aeneid, 6, 462. 315. As if. 320. A Drarie course, Sir Terwin, mentioned in 27. 332. Judge against the right, give just judgment against thee. 333. To price, to pay the price of. 336. What justice, etc., what justice ever gave any other judgment but this, that, he, who deserves, etc. 340. Is then unjust, etc., is it then unjust to give each man his due? 39. Observe the subtle argument on suicide in this, and sint. 40. 41. Spenser here puts into the mouth of the knight Socrates' argument to Cebes in their dialogue on the immortality of the soul. Plato's Phaedo 6. 367. Quoth he despair. 403. Thy date, the allotted measure or duration of thy life. 408. Thy esinafulal hire, thy service of sin. 431. As he were charmed, etc., as if he were under the spell of magic incantation. 438. In a table, in a picture. The horrors of the Last Judgment and the torments of the lost were favorite subjects of the medieval Catholic painters. 468. Fire-mouthed dragon. The dragons of romance are all described as fire-breathing. 473. That chosen art, a reference to the doctrine of election. Mark 13:20. 476. Accursed handwriting.